Awesome. Perfect. I thought this video might be more fun to try to make while cooking some breakfast. Hopefully you can hear me okay. My voice is kind of gone from traveling and being sick. But the reason I'm making this video is for anyone who wants to stop just going through the motions and start really living their life. Now, I know I'm sick, but I just booked a flight from the US and the trip total with layovers was about 32 hours. And now I'm in Bangkok recovering. I wasn't sick before the flight, but that's what you get for flying during flu season, I guess. So I wanted to talk about this because I think a lot of people are feeling stuck. Like they're just, working from home and they've never left, right? Or, they're working their regular 9 to 5 and something just isn't feeling right with them. And honestly, I think a lot of people would really benefit from at least living somewhere else outside of their hometown or home city, for at least 6 months, just to see if you like it. It's a great growing experience, and I've done it a few times now, through a few different states in the US, through Latin America. That was big for me. And then now Bangkok, Thailand. And I was a lot more nervous about this one because it's halfway across the world. But I have friends who have been here. There's people that I want to meet here. A few YouTubers that I have kept up with, like Jack Hopkins, Tommy Nguyen, Zoom to Thailand, Isaiah Ashley. A lot of guys basically talking about how you can live a much more fulfilling life. Well, I guess it depends on the person, but they seem to found a much more fulfilling situation by selling, like their Masaitis and their big house and being able to live by just a more happy, more wholesome life. For example, like in Latin America or in Southeast Asia. And a lot of these guys inspired me to get over here, right? Because in Latin America, I experienced the same thing. I was able to afford really good gym memberships and eat much better food. Like I could always eat out if I wanted to. You can hire someone to cook for you. You can hire a personal trainer. And everything will cost you so much less than it would have. So I highly advise anyone that's interested in maxing out their finances to try something like this. Because after the plane ticket, and you'll find that like Airbnbs or other ways of finding housing, you can connect with the right people and find people who are willing to rent to you. And the local rent is much less than wherever you're living in the States or Canada or the UK, Australia, a lot of the westernized countries. Now, I can't really speak on dating in Thailand yet because I've been sick. I have noticed I've gotten a few looks here and there, but they're very welcoming and kind. You can tell that they really want to help you, point you in the right direction. give you recommendations for food, things like that. And I got a lot more kindness and femininity from the women in Latin America, actually. So, like in Mexico and Colombia and Peru, just really surprised me how great the people were overall. You know, a lot of people, like the news tries to really paint a dark picture of things, and you definitely have to be safe. You know, pick the right places to live, but you know, sometimes you just gotta learn, like, not to wear your watch and not to hold your phone in your face when you're trying to find something on Google Maps and walking. Taking maybe an Uber. You know, my first Uber in Colombia was $2, and I was blown away. So, this food's almost ready. So, you know, I'm probably gonna end the video around here, but if you're feeling stuck at all, if you can find a way to make your job remote and work with your schedule, yeah, everything really, for me, just became a lot more easier, and I hope it does for you. You know, your diet, the gym, getting outside more, meeting people. Maybe that's one last thing I should say, is I think there's a lot of digital nomads or remote workers who complain that they never met anyone. And the issue is, like, a lot of remote workers, or people just working, like, in the US or Canada, for example, you ask them, for example, like, why they're not meeting anyone for dates, and then they ask them, like, what they do during their day, and they'll say, well, work, gym, I eat, I watch Netflix. And they tell you, oh, they're starting to feel a little more introverted lately. Well, they have no social momentum, so they're not getting out and actually meeting people. And then they move back home, and they're like, oh, I just, you know, social life wasn't great when I was a digital nomad. Well, obviously, like, you didn't actually try. And that's why, like, all this, like, self-help, I don't like putting it that way, it's like self-development. A lot of guys get really, like, socially inept because they're like, well, I'm meditating and I'm working on my business and, you know, doing mewing, and I'm a Chad now, right? But basically, they're totally excluding socializing. So, like, they didn't try to go out on a hike, like a weekly adventure, or they didn't try going somewhere where they could meet new friends or girls, and so that's why they had that experience. So this is all to say that if you're feeling stuck and you want to really start living, get out of your comfort zone. Maybe move to a new country.